Everyone. Today's session is about the interview method that is used in the selection of employees. The learning objective of today's session is to understand the importance of interview method in employee selection. The session outcome is students would understood the importance of interview method in employee selection. The personal interview is a widely used employee selection technique to evaluate the candidate for the purpose of hiring, for promotions, and for transfer. Interview is a two-way communication process to obtain information from the interviewee's attitude about his job. The purpose of the interview is to allow a company to evaluate a candidate's suitability to employment. To evaluate the interview for his ability to perform under a particular set of different circumstances. Following are the different ways of evaluating the candidates. Guided interview. It is also called as a structured interview, unguided interview, also called as unstructured interview, stress interview, and the group interview. The first one, that is the guided interview, which is also called as a structured interview. In this method, interviewer is going to follow a list of predefined questions to be asked. Interviewer will ask same question to all the candidates who have applied for a job. Response of all candidates are recorded on the same sequence of questions. Following are the set of questions that are asked in the structured or guided interview. The questions can be close-ended or the questions can be open-ended. In the close-ended questions, an example for close-ended questions are: an interviewer may ask the interviewee like, are you ready for relocation? Are you willing to work in the night shift? So such type of questions requires to answer either as yes or no. Whereas in case of open-ended question, the interviewer may ask an interviewee like, tell me about yourself. What are the challenges you are facing in your current organizations, in your current organization? This type of questions requires a detailed response. A person can give any number of responses. Not only he can answer only yes, I'm facing this, or no, I'm not facing. He can explain whatever he is experiencing in his work. The advantages of this guided or structured interview are: interviewer can evaluate candidates in most objective and fair or open-minded way. He can ensure questions whether the interview is fully understood or not. Predefined questions helps to evaluate the results easily. As questions are prepared before, it will be easy to schedule the interview in a very short time. And it is easy to compare the results among the candidates. Whereas the disadvantages are: questions can be easily leaked out, We have to inform interviewer to follow the same set of questions to everyone so that they stick to them. They will not have flexibility to ask other questions. The second type of interview is the unguided or the unstructured interview. Here, in this method, interviewer is going to ask questions which are not prepared in advance like in the structured interview. Questions asked to each candidate differs. That means it depends upon the response to the questions asked from the interviewer, and the questions will be always open-ended one. Whereas in case of structured interview, there can be even a closed-ended questions also going to be asked by the interviewer. The goal of the unguided or unstructured interview is to gather and record important information about candidates. Here, in this method, an interviewer should be focused about what he is going to ask. The advantages of this unguided interviews are: there can be a personalized approach for the interviewer. He can ask questions randomly based on the situation and candidate response. This method is explorative and it can be quantitative also. Interviewer observes the behavior of candidate. For example, whenever a particular type of question asked for the employee, what type of changes happens in his face, what type of other type of behaviors an employee is going to show, the interviewer can note down it. Candidates are made comfortable during the interview process. Some of the disadvantages of this method is it is a time-consuming method and can be difficult for interviewer to ask the questions randomly, and the response cannot be compared with others. To summarize this session, interview is a two-way communication process to obtain information from the interviewee's attitudes about his job. Various types of interview methods are used in employee selection. In this session, I have explained about the structured and the unstructured interview method. Thank you.